Games, and here now with Ian Jones-QUARTEY?
Yeah.
I got it right. All right, Ian Jones-QUARTEY, Toby Jones, and Nathan VELLA from Capy Games, and they have graced us with the first ever look at OKKO Let's Play Heroes. Nathan, this is exciting because I remember last year we were talking, I think in the summer, and you said, I got this really cool thing I'm going to do tied to this license, and I'm excited about my partner. I can't say anything about it, but this is going to be like a true collaboration. And Capy, works on incredible games. So tell us, how did this partnership come together with the show and the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a strange thing. We normally don't look at this type of thing. Like, we're normally not that. We want to make our own stuff.
And lots of people, I'm sure, come to you and say, hey, you want to do this movie game?
Yeah, for sure. But we got cartoons in our blood. It's our inspiration. We love the work that Cartoon Network has been doing. And so when these guys came knocking, it was really interesting. They had played all of our stuff.
Yeah.
We had very critical discussions about our video games, but they also were talking about this cool new show that we were doing. And I was a huge fan of Ian's past work on Steven and on Adventure Time. I was a huge fan of Regular Show. So it was like, well, yes, let's obviously talk. And the way that it came to be was really just they wanted Capy to be a part of the creation of OKKO, not just make a game after this thing has been done. The game and the show really came to life together.
That's so amazing.
And it's a really special thing. We couldn't be happier about it.
So how does that collaboration work? I mean, obviously incredible artistic talent there.
Yeah.
Creative talent. Like, tell us, how does that work sort of creatively about building both together?
It's been really fun. Like, when we started, we didn't even have artwork or episodes done. We just had like some black and white, like really rough storyboards that we just kind of showed these guys, and sort of we started developing the world like in tandem. So we would basically hop on with them like every week, show them everything we've been doing. They would show us everything that they've been doing, and it really kind of came like we became like this organic sort of like development together. So like, I think usually a lot of times with a license or something, they see something in a vacuum, then they have to figure out how to make a game out of it. But this, we kind of started like from the ground up, like, who are these characters? What is this world? And we found different ways of expressing that through like the gameplay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell the art is just so cool because it is like cartoon brought to life.
When Ian and Toby were working on the show, the thing that we really grabbed was that it's a show kind of with video games at its core, instead of this layer of just like, oh, and also here's some cool video game stuff. It was really about these heroes in this world, and these heroes are video game heroes. And so while they were approaching video games from the cartoon standpoint, it gave us an opportunity to talk about how do you approach video games from a cartoon standpoint, and to think about how to make a game that's kind of like you're playing a cartoon.
So, Toby, tell us about the sort of the arc of this sort of story and these characters.
This is kind of like a show about a kid who wants to become a great hero, but he's also in a world where every single person is a superhero.
Okay.
So this location, Lakewood Plaza Turbo, is like a nexus for all the disparate heroes of this different universe. And each of these characters could kind of be the main hero in their own comic book, anime, or video game. And here we see these three main characters, KO, Rad, and Enid. And in this game, we kind of play KO, and he's just getting started, and he's a lowly hero, and he wants to kind of level up and become this great, amazing hero. And the way he does it, both in the show and in the game in different ways, is by forming relationships and helping heroes who he looks up to.
Wow. So, you talk about this sort of collaboration, game and show, and sometimes, we've seen that with South Park. They can write stuff for a game, but it's, how does it all line up together? So, how is this all going? Is it all going to kind of come out around the same time, or how's it going to all sort of roll out to the world of fans?
Well, let's see. I can say right now that so the show is going to come out on TV in the summer.
This summer.
This summer.
Okay.
However, if you have the Cartoon Network app, tomorrow you'll be able to see brand new full episodes of the show, like exclusively brand new, way ahead of the show.
Multiple episodes?
Yeah, multiple full brand new episodes.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah, premiering there. And the game will launch a little bit fall. Yeah.
So it's not going to be exactly the same, but it's going to be very nearby. And it's coming to PC, Xbox One, and PS4 all at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's really, really cool. And obviously, the art, and I'm sure the sound and everything, it's all built together, right? And that's why I think it's going to be really cool.
One of the best things about this project for us has been Ian and Toby putting kind of their trust in us, and it's the show looks different than the game. The show is written differently than the game, but they're all kind of this cohesive part of a universe. We're all building our own canon. We're not following a really strict script. We're not following model sheets. We're getting a chance to make a Capy game set in this world that Ian and Toby have entrusted us with. And then our game gets a chance to explore some characters that maybe Ian and Toby haven't explored yet, or go down a slightly different path with KO. And it's a heck of a good time, that's for sure. And it's a lot of fun to work on.
It's so cool that this came together. I mean, Toby, when you were thinking about this, and Ian, it's like, Capy, was it sort of first on the list of people to collaborate with?
It was something that honestly, like, working with games was part of the initial development, between the pilot and the show. And we had done a great mobile game with Double Stallion. And Cartoon Network, had this relationship they were starting to build with Capy, and they were, this was 2 E3s ago, they were just like, hey, do you want to grab lunch, with Nathan and Chris from Capy? And we were just like, yes, of course. We were just such huge fans that we were just like, look, I don't care if anything comes of this. We just want to say hello and like get to know them. And so it was just like a nice first meeting, and it kind of built naturally from there. And honestly, it was something that was beyond even our expectations of what was possible. And it just happened that it was a super organic thing. We just happened to jive completely about just kind of like our taste and what we think is cool and interesting about both cartoons and games.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Well, it looks really cool. And Nathan, this will come out, you said, across all platforms. So will it be episodic, or it'll just be the game?
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It is a thing.
It's a packaged thing you're going to
Yes.
A full thing.
That was a totally cagey answer, by the way. So
okay. Stay tuned, I guess. Well, hopefully it's the kind of thing that will continue to grow over time and can feed off of each other. And I mean, storyline-wise, they're discrete things, but are there going to be cool kind of crossover?
There are definitely parts of the game that tie, like, literally into the show. And we can't go too deep into that, but they're not just separate.
I'm going to say, that's part of the fun.
There is a little bit of stuff for people to find. For super fans of the show, they will find little pieces.
If you watch the show very, very closely, you'll get a little bit of extra stuff out of it.
Cool.
That'll work with the game.
And will you guys have, like, will there be scenes from the show in the game, or like
we're doing all of our own animation.
Really?
We actually have an animation studio called Exit 73 that are amazing dudes that are doing fully animated parts of the game with us, and it's amazing because, I mean, they're friends with Ian, so through the show we got to work with their friends on a game. It's amazing, and like. I don't know if you know Dose One, but he did the soundtrack for a whole bunch of awesome games, Gang Beasts and Enter the Gungeon. He's doing the soundtrack for the game as well, so the music is super rad. And I mean, it's just kind of this awesome collaboration. And Ian and Toby have been huge about bringing people into the development of OKKO rather than holding it and guarding it. And the result is that, like, we get to make a cool game with our friends and then bring more friends into it.
Very early on, one of my goals for this whole project was I want to work with my friends, and I want to work with people who I'm fans of, people who do their jobs better than I could ever do it. And that was instrumental in bringing on people who know what they're doing. Capy Games is it's a developer that I'm a fan of, and so it was just great to be like, hey, I'm a fan of you guys. Maybe you can be a fan of this thing. And then we learned about each other, and then it just became like a huge loving, basically. So
and now we get to make a crazy brawler with fighting game components and RPG elements.
And it looks so lovable and different and just vibrant.
I'm a big fighting game fan and a big brawler fan, and being able to make a game that lets kind of KO collect his favorite heroes and then choose what heroes he wants to bring into battle and then call those heroes in as assists is like, it's a game that I would have wanted to make like separately, but never would have thought of had the situation not been this way.
And you look at just the level of detail in this. He said, and we know it's Capy, so it's going to be great gameplay on top of it. It's not just going to look great. So that's true. Now, before we go, guys, Toby, and give me a moment because I have to ask Nathan, what's going on with Below?
I knew that. I'm actually glad that you asked that.
Okay.
So we said
I was waiting all Xbox press conference. I'm like, 40 whatever games. I'm like, probably Below will be one of those. But
so when we delayed the game last time, we said we're going to stay dark until we can specifically announce a release date. And we don't have a set release date, so we're just hammering away. The game's coming along great. I mean, people are justifiably worried and justifiably...
It's still actively in development.
Yeah, we have the studio is 2 teams, the OKKO team and the Below team. It's still, it's going along great. It's a huge video game, and I think I hope that people trust us to finish it right instead of rushing it out just to get it there. But we're still aiming for this year. That hasn't changed.
Okay.
We're still working our butts off. And we're hoping that between KO and below,
Yes.
we can show how different of games we can make. And
That'll be a
crush
big
them
year
both.
for Capy.
I love it. It's so exciting to be working on this project and to be working on finishing below at the same time. It's an
Right.
exciting time at the studio and an exciting time for video games at an awesome E3. So.
Yeah, and it's so cool to see, Toby and you guys, working with a great developer, doing it the right way, and this is what we like to see for sort of creative partnerships, and having you guys here at E3 is awesome too. So we will check out the show,
Yeah.
Cartoon Network app starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Watch some episodes.
Absolutely.
All right, okay, KO, thanks so much, guys.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
We got lots